channel. So in the today's lecture we are going to discuss one more operation that we can apply on the table. Okay, in the last video we discussed about the selection operation. So in this video we are going to discuss the projection operation. So what we discussed in the selection operation is basically used to select the tuples or the records or the rows of the relation. That was the actual use of the selection operation. Okay, now we are going to discuss what is the use of the projection operation. Let's suppose I am having a one relation student. The various attributes we have is roll number, name, email ID, and let's suppose marks or percentage. Okay, I am having 4 students. 1, 2, 3, 4. The name of these 4 students are Neha, Poonam, Aman, and let's suppose Swati. Okay, and the various email IDs: a@gmail.com, b@gmail.com, c@gmail.com, and d@gmail.com. And their marks are 85, 82, 95, 92. Okay, so this is my relation. In the selection operation, what we discussed, if we have to select any tuple of the relation, we can use the selection operation. Okay, by imposing some conditions on the attributes, we could fetch the tuples with the help of the selection operation. Okay, but what projection says? Projection says if you don't want to have all of the attributes in your output, okay, it says that we don't want to fetch the detail of all of the attributes. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to fetch the email IDs of all of the students. Okay, what I want to do, I want to fetch just the name and their corresponding email IDs. Neither I am interested in knowing the roll number of the student, nor I am interested in knowing the marks of the student. I just want the name and their corresponding email ID. Okay. If there is a situation when you don't need to have all of the attributes in your output, okay, then we actually use the projection. So what I want now, I want to fetch the name of the students and their corresponding email IDs. So how I will be performing the operation? With this symbol, this one. I will be fetching name and I will be fetching the email IDs on the relation student. Okay. I want to fetch, I want to project the attribute name and email from the table student. Okay, so what is going to be my output? In my output, I will be just getting only these two attributes, name and the email ID. Okay, all this information you will be getting in your output, like Neha, a@gmail.com, Poonam, b@gmail.com, Aman, c@gmail.com, and Swati, d@gmail.com. So this is actually going to be our output. When we were using the selection operation, we were fetching all of the attributes in our output. Okay, but it is not always essential that you want to see the information of all of the attributes of one particular student. Okay, so projection is basically used to fetch the information of some of the attributes of your relation, like this. Okay, this is actually our projection. Okay, and let me tell you one more thing. Projection is not commutative. Projection is a not commutative operation. Okay, as we discussed in the selection operation was commutative. Even if you change the order of operations, if you change the order of the selection operations, still you will be getting the same output in selection operation. Okay, but in projection operation, it is not commutative. It doesn't follow the property of commutative. Okay, what is the meaning of commutative? So let's suppose firstly I want to project the name and email ID of the relation student. Then further I want to project the name. Okay. If you consider these two projection operation, tell me what is going to be the output of these two projection operation. So firstly, we will be applying this projection operation on the relation student. Okay, so firstly what I will be doing, I will be selecting these two attributes in the output. I would be projecting name and email ID of all of the students. Okay, now till this, what is my output? I am having name and email IDs of all the 4 students. Okay, this complete information is going to be my output till here. Now, what I am doing, I am further doing projection operation. I want to filter some more attributes out of this attribute. Okay, so this first projection operation we would be applying on the complete table. Now we got some output, this relation. Now this second projection operation you would be applying on this new output relation which you got from this projection operation. operation. Now what I want to do, out of name and email attributes, I want to project just only the names. Okay, I am filtering now more attributes from this relation. So what is going to be my output? I am just having name as the output in my relation. I would be getting all these 4 names: Neha, Poonam, Aman and Swati. This is going to be my output if I perform these 2 projection operations. Okay, so as I told you, it is not commutative. What does the mean of commutativity? If I reverse the order of these 2 projection operation, what I do, let's suppose I have a firstly project name from the student, then I will be projecting name and email from this relation. I just reversed the order of the projection operation. If you look at it, these 2 are not equivalent. Why? Because when we performed these 2 projection operations, the output was name. All these 4 names we were getting: Neha, Poonam, Aman and Swati. Now let me perform this projection operation. Firstly, what I would be doing, I am projecting name attribute from the relation student. This is a student relation. I am projecting name. I am projecting name Neha, Poonam, Aman and Swati. Okay, this is the one attribute I am having, performing this first projection operation. Now what this second projection operation says, that we have to fetch or we have to filter this relation and we have to get the name and email ID out of this relation. But if you look at it, we just have the name attribute in this relation. We cannot get email ID from this relation because it is not having email attribute. Okay, so that is the reason that why projection operation doesn't follow the commutativity property. Okay, you cannot fetch name and email attribute just from the name attribute. So that is the reason that projection doesn't follow the commutativity property. Even selection follows the commutative property. Okay, so I hope that you have got a good idea of the projection operation. Projection operation we mainly use to fetch some of the attributes of the relation. Okay, now let me tell you one more thing. Let's suppose my question is, I want to fetch the name and email ID of all the students whose marks is greater than 90. Okay, so this is my question. My question is, I want to fetch the name and their corresponding email IDs of those students whose marks is greater than 90. So how we will be performing the operations on this kind of questions? Okay, firstly what I will be doing, I will be selecting all the tuples. I will be selecting firstly all of the students whose marks is greater than 90. So these two tuples are going to be in the output. Okay, initially I am selecting all of the students whose marks is greater than 90. So what I will be doing? Selection. Okay, firstly I will be performing the selection operation. Marks greater than 90 from relation student. Okay, if you look at this operation, we are fetching the two tuples, two students having roll number 3 and 4 in the output. Okay, but what is our question? We just want to fetch only the name and emails of that students. We don't want to fetch the marks attribute and the roll number attribute. We just want to fetch the name attribute and the email attribute. Okay, this selection operation is giving you this data, this complete information. Now what I want to do, I want to project. I have now two tuples after performing this selection operation. Now I have a one new relation in which these two tuples are present. So what I want to do, I want to fetch the name and the email ID of these two tuples. I want to project the name and the email ID. Okay, so of these two tuples, I am fetching the name and the email ID. So what is going to be my output? Name, email ID. Okay, what are the names we are having? Aman and Swati. Aman and Swati. And what are their email IDs? c@gmail.com and we have d@gmail.com. So this is my output. Okay, this is my final relation after performing these two operations. Okay, so this first selection operation we would be performing on the complete student relation. So after performing the selection operation, we are getting some number of tuples in the output. Okay, so from that set of tuples which are coming in the output, we would be performing projection operation on that set of tuples. Okay, so if you look at Aman and Swati are the two students whose marks is greater than 90 and these are their email IDs. Okay, so we are doing nothing, we are just processing the information present in the table. Okay, when you have a lot of data stored in your table, you have to perform some queries on it so that you can fetch your data the way you want. What is your requirement? According to that, you would be fetching your data. Okay, so this selection and this projection, both operations are very important. And later, when we will be studying the SQL queries, we will be using this selection and projection operations. Okay, we have converted this kind of operations into the form of SQL queries. Okay, so I hope that you are clear with the projection operation. If you have any query, I have mentioned my email ID in the description box. You can contact me on that email ID. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe my channel.